This is how you achieve exempt status in commercial affairs. Those of the light may use the same trusts the super rich use. Be prepared for the global currency reset. We provide the exact right kind of natural law trust. It is the best written, and it is applicable in all countries. This is a centuries-old time-tested asset protection instrument is ideal because it will continue to be valid even after a golden age has dawned worldwide. House of Freedom Trusts, the most rare trust design in the world. You can benefit from one of these trusts, which concentrate the best asset protection secrets of the super rich into the fewest words and simplifies the language so as to minimize legalese and maximizes common politeness and understandability. These trusts can be operated in all countries anywhere in the world. Trust clients may become either trustees or creators, beneficiaries, and managers. These pure natural law sovereign irrevocable trusts enjoy exemption from filing income tax returns or paying income tax. They are infinitely flexible and can be adapted to any ethical, lawful, and noble purpose. This is the type of trust that many of the billionaires have been using. It is time for peaceful people of the light to disseminate beneficial influences in society with the same sovereign legal instruments with which the elite have previously been hiding their assets. What can the right kind of pure trust organization do for you? 1. Assets are protected from litigation. 2. Protection from creditors. 3. Protection from liability suits. 4. Protection from malpractice suits. 5. Protection from employees. 6. Protection from personal bankruptcy. 7. Protection from excessive divorce settlements. 8. Avoids probate. 9. Avoids inheritance tax. 10. Avoids estate taxes. 11. Avoids court actions. 12. Eliminates attorney fees. 13. Eliminates or reduces accountant fees. 14. Eliminates executor's fees. 15. Eliminates income taxes. 16. Frees tax dollars for capital appreciation. 17. Provides complete control over your assets through trustees. 18. No public record. 19. Ownership and title can be passed to heirs in complete secrecy. 20. Trust is perpetual. The trust lives on continuously. 21. Heirs cannot change, challenge, or contest any wishes at your death. 22. The trust is easy to maintain and very inexpensive. The particular type of natural law trust designed by one of the best trust writers in the world is equally valid in every state in America and every country in the world. The trust will work just as well in any country as it does in the USA because natural law goes everywhere. It is not publicly recorded anywhere. You keep it private. Therefore, it is not domiciled in any particular state or province. This superior type of pure natural law sovereign irrevocable trust not only is income tax exempt, but also has no tax return filing requirements. This is most significant. The reason is that it is non-statutory. It does not fall under any of the statutory categories that are subject to filing requirements. Everything that one was doing in one's personal name or in the name of a statutory tax reporting entity, one can do instead in the name of the pure trust and operate free from ever having to file tax returns ever again, at least on the trust entity. It can hold bank accounts. It can pay all the bills of the trustees and beneficiaries. It can hold real estate, and it can protect just about any kind of asset. It is not understood by most attorneys because it is not taught in law school. But it has been quietly used by many of the world's wealthiest families for centuries. Hundreds of thousands of people, perhaps millions, have been operating with this kind of trust very quietly, without filing tax returns, without paying income tax, without trust vulnerability or penetration, without loss of assets, and without legal problems. This trust can do a lot more things than most people have realized. This type of trust can be a foundation, either to receive grants or make grants. It can be a business. It can be a scientific institute. It can be a religious or spiritual organization. It can be a holding company. It can be a family estate planning instrument. It can be a personal vehicle for commerce. And it can be a tax shelter. It is infinitely flexible. It can be styled, modified, and adapted to serve any noble purpose. Virtually anything that is life-supporting, ethical, and lawful. More and more people today know that a worldwide financial reset is imminent. And as such, you may have wondered if the LLC, foundation, corporation, or statutory trust that you set up will be made extinct or redundant after the restoration of an asset-based world. Economic system has been restored and made widely known. There are two types of law, natural law and statutory law. Natural law is generally more attuned to common law and universal law. It has been around a whole lot longer and is more agreeable to more people, hence the word natural. Statutory law, on the other hand, which is what LLCs and corporations are based on, is legislated by politicians and changes from time to time, often every year. It can be outrageously complex, and has too often been engineered to benefit the few at the expense of the many. In the USA, a 501c3 foundation or nonprofit corporation is a statutory entity that is tax-exempt, but it has to file reports to the IRS each year to continually re-justify its tax-exempt status. Its status can be revoked or challenged at any time. A natural law trust, by contrast, especially the kind my associate sets up, has no filing requirements. It is created based on the unlimited right that we have to enter into a contract with each other. The government has no authority to disallow it. This is affirmed in the U.S. Supreme Court case Hale v. Henkel, 1905. It is one of the most quoted court cases in history and has never been overturned. So, such a trust can go on being renewed generation after generation, and go on enduring through whatever changes may take place in the statutes. The advantage of LLCs is that any bank will automatically open an account for them, whereas with a natural law trust, we often have to go through 3 or 4 banks to find one that is willing to open an account for it. Banks don't understand them as well, and so have confusing policies regarding them. We have, however, always found banks willing to open the accounts, and so we generally have no need for an LLC or a statutory entity. And if you already have an LLC and a bank account for it, you can greatly reduce and minimize the taxes that it owes by establishing a natural law trust and having the trust be 98% owner of the LLC. In 3 decades of trust writing, we are not aware of any of our trust clients ever having had any penetration, loss of assets, or legal problems with these trusts due to the structure or design of the trusts. This is rare in the asset protection field. There are some statutory entities that are tax-exempt. The difference with a properly designed natural law trust is that it is also tax-exempt, but it has no filing requirements. A statutory nonprofit corporation may be exempt from paying, but it is not exempt from filing. It has to report all its income in, all its expenditures out, and re-justify its exempt status every year. The tax people can revoke it at any time. The House of Freedom Trust, by contrast, has no filing requirements, which delivers quite a superior advantage in the administration of one's noble humanitarian affairs. The gift of the properly designed natural law trust is that it is not subject to the millions of statutory laws. It is only subject to the natural law, which does not change. It stays the same generation after generation, and so the trust set up properly under it can last forever, or can be renewed forever without ever being subject to the changing whims of legislatures. For those who will be operating a ministry or a church, there is also the privilege of using a sole corporation. We also set up sole corporations. Sole corporations are similar to natural law trusts in that they are tax-exempt and have no filing requirements. The difference is that they are statutory and are only to be used for bona fide religious or spiritual organizations that really have actual congregations, services, ministries, etc. Otherwise, a natural law trust is more appropriate for most purposes. Just 2 of the very important superlatives of the trusts we set up are simplicity. Most trust writers, whether statutory or natural law, make them unnecessarily complicated. These necessities having to pay them, or other professionals, big bucks and ongoing fees to interpret the complicated and verbose legalese. Not so with the House of Freedom Trusts that we write. They are bulletproof in strength, but simple and easy for anyone to understand. This saves having to hire professionals to interpret them. Politeness. Many natural law trusts written by patriots have such strong anti-government language in them that banks are reluctant to touch them. By contrast, our House of Freedom Trusts are written in a polite and courteous manner. They are elegant. The same objective of strength and imperviousness is reached through a more refined language. If you hold foreign currencies that you expect to revalue soon, and if you are going to order the trust and/or the sole corporation, they should ideally be established prior to the RV so that any exchanged funds can be deposited directly into the newly opened account for the trust. There are innumerable benefits of this particular type of trust above and beyond having a suitable vehicle into which to deposit the exchanged currency gains. Those benefits are outlined herein and in the additional trust sections. See website for an overview of the features and benefits of the pure common law sovereign trust. See website for a letter from the IRS showing how such trusts have no filing requirements. Although the letter is from 1997, it is still true today. They're not likely to change it at any time soon because the elite themselves use such instruments. The IRS is from the USA, but the same tax exemption exists with most countries. See website for the questions and answers section. If you're wondering about the cost of the natural law trust, it's $2,500 USD. That's a one-time lifetime fee. There are no other fees. There are no extra costs due to needing to hire lawyers or professionals to interpret complicated legalese. There are no extra costs due to needing to create ongoing extra documents unless you are running a large and complex organization. Compare that to the $3,000, $5,000, and $10,000 that a lot of trust writers charge. The only thing we've seen a lot of the others provide that this one does not is fancier paperwork and more bells and whistles, but we've also seen inferior conceptual content in most of those fancier trusts. The conceptual content in these trusts is elegant, simple, straightforward, and effective. Very simply, they work. If you have questions, please be so kind as to read our Q&A section first. If you still have questions not already answered there, then by all means go to our website at houseoffreedomtrust.com and open a help desk ticket and we'll be glad to assist you. Yours for world enlightenment, the benefactor House of Freedom Trust. houseoffreedomtrust.com